It was their third wedding anniversary, but for Daniel, it felt just like the first day he'd fallen in love with her. Every morning, watching Emma make coffee, humming softly, or searching for her misplaced phone, he'd smile the same way he did when he first saw her two strangers in a quiet little bookstore. Daniel and Emma met 5 years ago. She worked at a library, a world of books and quiet dreams. He was an engineer, practical, calm, a man who believed in logic over emotion. But the moment he saw her, something shifted. He started visiting the library more and more often, pretending to look for new books when really he was just looking for her. Of course, she noticed. One day, with a shy smile, she asked, "Do you actually read all those books you borrow, or do you just collect them?" He laughed, feeling caught. "I'm collecting reasons to talk to you," he admitted, and that was the beginning of everything. After 2 years of late-night talks, handwritten letters, and coffee dates under gentle rain, Daniel proposed in that very same library. Their wedding was small, just family, close friends, and the sound of laughter filling the air. For them, it wasn't about the size of the moment, but the depth of the promise they were making to each other. Marriage, of course, brought changes. Some days were soft and beautiful, like the scent of lavender in summer. Others were tiring, filled with work stress, bills, and silly arguments over little things. But every time they felt themselves drifting apart, one of them would always reach back. It was their silent promise, never let go, no matter how rough things get. By their third year, life had settled into a routine. Daniel worked long hours, and Emma managed their little home with a quiet strength. One evening, Daniel came home late again. He found Emma sitting silently at the dinner table. The food was cold, the candles burned down to nubs. "Emma," he said softly, "I'm so sorry." The meeting, she looked up, her eyes glistening with tears. "I'm not angry that you're late, Daniel," she said, her voice trembling. "I'm sad because we stopped talking like we used to." Her words broke him more than any silence ever could. He walked over and knelt beside her chair. "You're right," he whispered, his own voice thick with emotion. "I got so busy building a life that I forgot to live it with you." Emma looked at him, and in her eyes he saw the same softness, the same forgiveness from all those years ago in the bookstore. "Then let's start again," she said, taking his hand. And just like that, they did. The next morning, Daniel woke up early for the first time in months. He made breakfast, burnt toast and overcooked eggs, but Emma smiled like it was a gourmet feast. They laughed, they talked. They started taking their evening walks again. One weekend, Daniel surprised her with a trip back to that same little library. It was older now, a bit dusty, but it was filled with their memories. He led her to the very corner where he first saw her, took her hands in his, and said, "If I had to do it all over again, all the mistakes, the arguments, the long days, I would still choose you. Every single time." She smiled through her tears and whispered, "And I would still look at you this way." He kissed her forehead gently, his heart overflowing with gratitude. He realized then that real, lasting love isn't built on grand gestures, but on the quiet decision to stay when it would be easier to walk away. Years later, you could find them sitting on their porch, gray hair shining in the golden light. Daniel would still tease her about her coffee addiction, and she'd still complain that he never learned how to fold laundry properly. And every time she looked at him, her eyes would still say, "You are my favorite story," because in the end, love isn't about finding perfection. It's about persistence. It's about choosing each other every single day, especially when life tries to pull you apart. True love isn't about how perfectly you start, it's about how deeply you stay. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to Heart Talk Stories, where every heartbeat has a story to tell.